This news update is brought to you by...
Got kids? Then you need video on demand from Flow, with hours of entertaining shows and movies for boys and girls of all ages. There's always something to watch. Simply press the VOD button on your Flow remote. This is how we do TV. This is how we Flow.
This is the Barbados Today evening news update for Friday, January 22nd. Thank you for joining us. I am Mary Claire Williams. We begin with news from the Employment Rights Tribunal, which is hearing the case of dismissed workers from the National Conservation Commission. The NCC's General Manager, Keith Neblett, today admitted to negotiating with the National Union of Public Workers prior to the dismissal of the 200 employees. That admission may prove to be a major setback for the NCC, who had contended all along that it did not recognize the union as the workers' bargaining agent. But Tribunal Chairman Hal Gollop today maintained, based on Neblett's admission, that a precedent had been set.
It is the view of the tribunal that there can be recognition by course of dealing. The tribunal is prepared to be wrong on that, so that Council, you can bring all the legal authorities on that, and Council over here, I'm going to raise it as an issue for Council to address me on. Recognition through course of dealing. So the facts are that the numbers did not add up. The question I would like to ask now, so we can truncate this line of questioning and so on. Did the Commission ever deal with the NUPW during its bargaining sessions in respect of wages, conditions, or anything that a union will be brought into discussion about?
The mother of a missing 16-year-old girl is appealing to the public for help in finding her. Joni Batson told Barbados Today her daughter Nariba Maynard left their Valerie Land Brittons Hill Road home yesterday around 10 o'clock and has not returned since. She said the former foundation school student has a number of tattoos about her body and was wearing a red shirt and faded black shorts when she left home for her father's house on Gunside Road, Brittons Hill. She added that one of Maynard's siblings sent a message to her cell phone sometime after 1 o'clock yesterday afternoon, and she replied 3 hours later. When contacted, police spokesman David Welch told Barbados Today he was unable to ascertain an official report that the teen is missing. There is strong support in St. Philip West constituency for calypsonian John King following his decision to enter politics. Earlier this month, King said he plans to contest the next general election on a Barbados Labour Party ticket. But constituents told Barbados Today they believe King will face an uphill battle in defeating the incumbent Dr. David Estwick.
He's a good fella, man. I'll let him look at the vein. I'll let him vote, but I just can't vote me too far. He because this way, so I'll let him vote me. He's a good fella.
It's a step in the right direction for the younger generation. But I know he's in for a challenge because his opponent is going to be a very difficult candidate to be beaten when every election is called.
I feel his chances is good, as good as anybody else. I know John for all my life. He don't enter anything half-heartedly. I know you have to have his mindset, and I wish you all the best.
Government is launching a major campaign to reduce obesity rates among children. The National Nutrition Center of the Ministry of Health has produced a set of guidelines identifying healthy foods and snacks to be served to the students. Nutrition Officer Dr. Mark Aline says the current obesity levels and the incidence of non-communicable diseases among students is a serious problem that needs urgent attention.
In order for the guidelines to be effective, however, we need to have the Ministry of Health, the Ministry of Education, school principals and school boards all cooperate and collaborate to develop policies to support the recommendations in the guidelines. These policies should include specific criteria to be met by the school's canteen operators in order to provide only nutritious and healthy lunches and snacks to our school children. Once such a policy is enacted, there should be provision made to police the canteens to ensure that compliance is being met. The sale of unhealthy foods on school premises for fundraising and other purposes should be strongly discouraged.
Meanwhile, PAHO's representative to Barbados and the Eastern Caribbean says obesity rates in Barbados have risen significantly over the past 3 decades.
According to the 1981 National Nutrition Survey for Barbados, 29% of children under the age of 5 were at that time malnourished, and 20% of female adolescents were classified as overweight. By 2010, the prevalence of overweight and obesity had risen to 32% for boys and 37% for girls. And in the 2011 WHO Global School-Based Student Health Survey, we saw that 46% of children were either overweight or obese, and girls and boys had similar statistics. So basically, in a period of 35 years, 1 generation, Barbados has moved from an island where 1/3 of the children were malnourished to almost 4 in every 10 adolescents being overweight or obese.
1 man is in police custody assisting with investigations into the wounding of a ZR driver this morning. Police say Andrew Bullen of Jackson, St. Michael, was stabbed in the neck around 6:45 this morning following an altercation with another man in Oyston, Christchurch. He was taken to the Queen Elizabeth Hospital where he was treated and discharged. In news from the courts, a St. James man has been remanded to prison until next month for the Christmas Day shooting of Ricardo Gibbons at Thunder Bay, St. James. 20-year-old Adrian Jerome Gibbons of Weston, St. James, is accused of having an unlicensed firearm and causing serious bodily harm to his relative on that date. The general worker appeared before Magistrate Wanda Blair in the Whole Town Magistrates Court this morning. He is due back in court on February 19. In sports, Barbados Pride will face Trinidad and Tobago Red Force in the final of the Regional Super 50 tournament tomorrow. The Pride secured their spot in the final after beating Windward Islands Volcanoes by 7 wickets in yesterday's semi-final at Queen's Park Oval. They bowled out the Volcanoes for 175 in 45.4 overs and reached 179 in 44.3 overs with 3 wickets remaining.
There's regional and international news after this short break.
Secure your future, be financially strong. Since 1983, we have been there for you. A smart range of products, great tax benefits. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. Humble beginnings to smart loans, smart savings. Save smart and borrow smarter. That's the move for me. Stability, prosperity. We're the solution to your hopes and your dreams. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union. The Barbados Workers Union Cooperative Credit Union.
In news from the region, supporters of Haiti's opposition staged street protests today ahead of Sunday's second round of presidential elections. But President Michel Martelly insists the vote will go ahead despite opposition calls for a postponement. In an address to the nation last night, Martelly denounced what he called a plot to try to destabilize the nation. He also accused the opposition of engaging in moves to prevent the legitimate transfer of power as scheduled on February 7th. Opposition parties accuse Martelly and the Provisional Electoral Council of seeking to rig the polls. And finally, 6 U.S. states have declared a state of emergency as the country braces for a major snowstorm. It is expected to hit the East Coast later today or tomorrow, and forecasters say it could be the worst blizzard in nearly a century. We get more in this BBC report.
Washington, D.C. is bracing itself for a combination of epic snowfall driven by hurricane-force winds. A state of emergency is in place. The whole public transport network is shutting down and apocalyptic warnings are being given.
I want to be very clear with everybody. We see this as a major storm. It has life and death implications, and all the residents of the District of Columbia should treat it that way. We need the city's full cooperation.
Folks need to understand that this is a life-threatening type of storm. So if you do not need to be out, and what we're asking folks is, by 3 o'clock today, you need to be where you're going to be throughout this storm.
And people are taking heed if the lines in food shops are anything to go by. By yesterday afternoon, this supermarket in Washington had been stripped bare. Empty shelves, nothing left to buy.
Here we go, ma'am.
And hardware shops too have been doing a roaring trade.
We're getting our snow shovels, and we're getting provisions, all kinds. And we're going to hunker down.
It was crazy to see. It was cleared out, and there was no bread, and there was no organic milk. And I thought, oh my goodness, it was like Snowmageddon that we had, years ago, where everyone's just running around taking everything and stocking up. So
a little snow did fall on Wednesday, and it caused total chaos on the roads. Some having a lucky escape.
And that's the news. There's more on our website, www.barbadostoday.bb. You can subscribe to our e-paper, email updates, and like us on Facebook. We're also on Izumi Media in bus terminals and Screenplay at supermarkets and gas stations near you. You can also tune into Channel 101 on Flow TV or Mix 96.9 FM for more news and sports. I am Maricla Williams. Have a good evening.